What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet. The brother who told you that all these butter biscuits were going to run out eventually, but you didn't listen, and now your ass has become the laughing stock of the internet. And I am black up in your face again with some more pro black commentary. So, the black conservatives are doing bad right now, folks. I don't know if you've noticed, but they are down bad when it comes to their presence on social media. And, you have some of the major league black conservatives, they're either at war with their white conservative counterparts or they're being chased away by their own white bigot audience. And you have some of the minor league black conservatives, the ones that fester on YouTube and TikTok and other social media platforms. A lot of them have just become the laughing stock of social media. A lot of them are not doing as well, or if anyone is paying them any attention, is to make fun of them or to call them out for their buffoonery. That has what's been going on now with the black conservative. And, as I've witnessed all of this, it actually gave me a thought like these black conservatives would have been better off if they had campaigned and hoped that Kamala Harris was the winner of the last presidential election. It'd have been better for them if she had won, because at least then that would have given them something to focus on outside of their own inadequacy. Like they could have built platforms off of being the black conservative attack dog against not only the black community, but also who's in the White House right now. But because their guy won, because their boy Donald Trump won, they no longer have that as an avenue to keep themselves going. And, when MAGA won the last election, a lot of the white bigot MAGAs felt like, well, we won this last election. We don't need these Negroes anymore to be shields for us. A lot of these black conservatives were just being used as shills and attack dogs and being used to, go out there and attack the black community and say all the racist things that these white bigots really want to say, but they don't want to be accused of racism, so they send these Negro conservatives out there to do it. So now that MAGA has actually won, and you have so many of these white bigots out here who just feel free and emboldened and empowered to come out and just be an open racist in this, society, they don't feel like they need you Negroes anymore. They don't need you conservative Negroes out there doing all of the legwork for them. They can do it themselves. They can come out and say that they hate black people themselves. They can come out and talk about, black people being on welfare or black people having less intelligence. They can come out and talk about black people being criminals and whatnot. They don't need you Negroes out there to do it for them anymore. So a lot of these Negroes are getting kicked to the curb. A lot of them are being pushed to the side. A lot of them are being defunded. And it's funny as hell to me. Like what's really funny is where a lot of these black conservatives are finding out for the first time that white people don't like them either. Like there's a lot of them out there right now who are being called racial terms or being torn apart by their own audience. Like the people that they were putting on a pedestal, the white bigots that they were catering to, have now turned on them. So a lot of them are now feeling the brunt of the hate and all of the negative energy that they put out there about black people. A lot of that is being turned around on them now. And it's funny as hell to me to see this. But, a lot of them think that, I guess they feel like if they call out the racism now, that the black community at large or whoever is going to come to their defense. And I'm letting you Negroes know, a lot of you conservative Negroes, that boat has sailed. You're not going to get any help from the black community because you want to scream racism all of a sudden. It's too late for that. All right. And this is what people like myself, us, quote unquote pro-blacks, told you Negroes years ago, was that if you keep doing this nonsense that you're doing, the only thing you're going to do is isolate yourself from your community, and you're going to make yourself an easy target for these white bigots when they get tired of you. And that's exactly what's happened. Think about this. You Negroes spent your entire life and your entire social media career tearing down your own community and saying stuff like racism doesn't exist. There's only a few bad people out there, but racism as a whole doesn't exist. You spent your whole life doing that and making it seem as if you were accepted within the white community. But now that they have turned on you, now you're trying to run back to us saying, hey, listen, you know, these white people are being racist against me because, I support Israel. Or these white MAGAs are being racist towards me because they said they don't need my help when it comes to getting votes for Trump anymore. They're being racist against me. They won't let me back into the party, right? Like I said before, they don't need you Negroes anymore. So, you trying to come to us and say, hey, they're being racist against us, or, these people are attacking me. You're not going to find any sympathy from the black community. In fact, a lot of us are going to either laugh at you, or if you're like me, I'm celebrating their downfall. I'm glad that that's happening because, once again, I knew it was coming. I told you it was going to happen. I warned you several times and you did not listen. You thought it was all to the good to be up under white folks and be their crawling dog and be their attack dog against the black community. So now you have to suffer those same consequences. The same hate and the same nonsense and the same propaganda that you put out there against your own people, now that is going to come back and bounce on you. They're going to start telling you that you are not that intelligent. And I've seen that all over social media recently, where a lot of these clowns who have been buck dancing for white people for so long, like people like Brandon Tatum, are being called dumb by his own white audience and being called a traitor and the N-word and everything else. Like his white bigot audience is tearing him up because of his support of Israel, right? And you even got other people who are on that spectrum, people like the Hodge twins and Tyrone Magnus. People just laugh at them now. Like I've seen even like white content creators who normally don't focus on these buffoons doing videos about them, talking about how dumb they are, or how they, don't take these people seriously anymore because these people are, well, the white creators call them grifters. They're just saying basically all these black conservatives are just grifting and trying to, find a slot somewhere in order to get the white anti-woke money, right? But for the most part, no one acknowledges them or takes them seriously as someone to listen to. And the most they think of is that these people are just there to be made fun of. These people are clowns. And a lot of you are. A lot of you black conservatives are clowns. You're buffoons. You're walking minstrels. Basically because that's what you chose to be. You chose to be out here tap dancing for white supremacy. And now that white supremacy feels that it is strong enough, it doesn't need you Negroes as foot soldiers anymore. It has moved you to the side and decided that it's going to do all its own bigotry work itself. And it's funny as hell to see that. Like, it's funny, like, recently I've seen black conservatives like Rob Smith and whatnot trying to, get back in the good graces of the MAGA party by saying, like, you're allowing these bigots out here like Nick Fuentes and others to push away the minorities in your group. Like, no, fool. The bigots have always been there. The bigots were there supporting you when you were attacking the black community. You see, the bigots have always been there, but now, because they have turned on you, because basically, like I said, they won. They won the election, so they don't need you Negroes. You're the one that thought you were special. You're the one that thought you were in, but now you're finding out that these people could care less about you. And like Professor Black Truth always says, white supremacy always breaks its tools. It will use its tools in order to accomplish a goal. But once they are done with that goal, they will throw their tools to the side. And that's what's happened to a lot of you Negroes. So once again, a lot of you fools would have been way better off if Kamala Harris had won. Because then you could have just kept on doing all your little buck dancing videos on social media talking trash about black people, and that would have been good enough for your white bigot audience, because your white bigot audience would have been so focused on trying to attack the Democrats or attack Kamala Harris in her every move, right? But now they don't have that. They got the Tangerine in there, and he's the ultimate fuck up. Let's be honest about that. The Tangerine has done some of the most egregious things, and it hasn't even been a full term yet. He's coming to the end of his first year during his term, and he's royally fucked the country up, right? People are out of work. People are out here literally starving, right? And the Congress is all fucked up. But, the Tangerine, he can't think of anything to do except for, go on trips to Asia and, have parties when he comes back and fall asleep during, meetings at the White House. That's all he cares about, right? He doesn't care about the actual people. So it's a mess now. And that's what happens when you have an egocentric maniac as your leader. You took the class clown and made him the class president, and then wonder why your school is falling apart, right? So for a lot of these black conservatives out here, a lot of them are scrambling. Like, it's funny because I've seen some of them still trying to, keep the same MO. Like they feel like if they just keep on the coon train and keep on attacking black people, then that'll be good enough, to maintain their audience. Like, people like Anton Daniels, and what is this buffoon's name? I don't know his name, but he looks like the Jackal Man from the Thundercats cartoon. Like, if you remember Thundercats, that's what this fool looks like. It looks like he has a messed up hairline, and looks like he has like pubic hairs glued onto his face for his facial hair, right? He was at that No Kings protest not too long ago. He got his ass whooped by the white protesters there, and he was crying racism then when they went upside his little messed up hairline and made it look even worse. But this Negro right here, he's like Anton Daniels. They're still trying to just talk trash about the black community, and hopefully they'll be able to get through this turbulent time for the buck dancers, but it's not working, right? Like, even recently, like, he tried to blame black people or blame the black community because this black mammy in, what was it? Was she running for like governor in Virginia or something like that? She lost, and he's blaming the black community for that, saying like, why you Negroes didn't vote, still voted Democrat. But like Negro, don't you realize your own Lord and Master, President Tangerine, didn't endorse this black woman? He didn't do any campaigning for her. He was too busy hanging out in Asia, getting gold crowns and gold golf clubs from the Asians over there, and too busy falling asleep and having his little party like his 1999 party at the White House, and building new wings onto the White House, new ballrooms and whatnot. That's what President Tangerine is worried about, right? Having a party and wasting everyone's money on bullshit and giving American money away to these corporations. But he was too busy doing that to worry about this mammy running for governor. And this clown right here with the pubes on his face was trying to blame the black community for that. But once again, he doesn't know what else to do, right? Like, he's one of these buffoons who's not too bright, and he's been given marching orders. But at this point, the people that he's trying to satisfy and the people that he's trying to please, they're not really giving out cash prizes and butter biscuits like they used to. Because once again, they don't need this Negro anymore. He came at the wrong time. He should have started maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, but he's ruined it now. But people like him and Anton Daniels, they're still doing their best to find these negative black news stories and post those all over their social media and talk bad about black people and black women and whatever. But it's not working like it used to, because once again, most people can see these fools as clowns. Even I've noticed a lot of young black people are now starting their own pages and starting to call out these black conservatives. And I appreciate that. I'm glad it's not just me and people like Tory and Rain and others calling out these buck dancers anymore. I'm glad there's more people out there that are, pushing back against this nonsense. It gives me joy to see that, and I hope it keeps going. And once again, considering that this is only Trump's first year during his second term, it's funny that how things have gone and changed so drastically. It's funny because I think things are going to get even worse as time goes on. So you folks can let me know how you feel about the buck dancers and the bootlicks out here and how they're just not doing too well on the conservative side. Let me know some of the failures and the fall offs you've seen within the black conservative side in the comments section. I'd love to hear that from you. Anyway, this is Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.